with Dave making the announcement now, letting everybody know that it's live. Okay. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Curran Jacobs here, and we are live at Harrah's Hotel Casino Resort at Summer Nationals right here in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and we are going to go around and interview these competitors to get their input, their mindset on battle. Stay tuned. Let's go. Thomas Lipinski. I am here with this wrestler. He's about to go up in 5 minutes. So what goes through your mind before you wrestle, brother?
Don't get pinned, don't get teched. Try to make it to the third period. That's what we're doing.
So you just that's what your goal is going in, and do you have fun, or you take this like dead serious?
We try to, dead serious. We try to have fun. When we do. Yeah, absolutely.
You're the man, brother. Best of luck to you. My man, are you coming up here in a few minutes? You mind if I get a quick interview with you? Is this your dad right here? How's it going, sir? I'm Curran Jacobs. I'm commentating some action here, and I just wanted to get some quick input from your young guy. What's your name, brother?
Aiden.
Aiden. Where are you from?
Rivervale. New Jersey.
So you're from New Jersey, and you're here to rock and roll at Summer Nationals?
Yeah.
How you feeling going into this competition?
Good.
You gonna bring home the gold?
Yeah.
My man, best of luck to you. Yeah, let's go. All right, we are rolling. Here we go. What is your name, first of all?
Lillian Prendergast,
Where are you from?
North Carolina.
North Carolina, and you said you're wrestling in college next year?
Yes.
Where are you wrestling in college?
The plan is to go to Mount Olive University.
Oh, amazing. So you got to be pretty stoked with the explosion of girls wrestling, are you not?
100%, yeah.
Does it make you happy that you women have the opportunity to compete at this level?
Yes, of course.
Where do you see women's wrestling in the next 5 years?
It's definitely going to explode and be like really tough. Right now, you know, some tournaments it's hit or miss, but I think soon enough, like tournaments are going to be hard to even get into.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think that Division I colleges are going to continue to include women's programs. Do you have any goals to compete in the Olympics at some point in your career?
I'm planning on just focusing on college and the national tournament, but if the opportunity comes up, then I'm definitely going to take it. But it's not completely my own goal. Mainly just wrestle in college, go to the national tournament, see how well I can do.
One step at a time.
Yes.
Hey, best of luck to you. Thank you so much for the interview. Are we rolling? I am here with this giant, this titan who has just got done competing. What are your thoughts on the tournament thus far, brother?
It's been exciting, a lot of good competition, and looking forward to competing again.
Heck yeah, brother. What is your name and where are you from?
Gage Gardner, Central Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. How did you do in your last match? I can feel the sweat. You just got done wrestling.
I pinned him
Which period?
first.
My man. Well, best of luck to you, brother. Have some fun.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks, man. What number am I? Number 1, baby. Give me some. So I am here with a wrestling mom. One of the biggest things that my mom was always nervous at these tournaments. Are you nervous as well when you watch your boys?
Absolutely. I don't think it ever goes away. Probably more nervous for this one than my older.
The younger one?
Yeah. He tends to lose his mind a little bit sometimes.
So what do you tell these boys the night before competition? The nerves are flowing. Walk us through some of the things that you do to kind of boost their confidence.
You want the truth?
Yes.
I don't say anything. I stay out of it. I let my husband deal with it because I always say the wrong thing. So
So you let the husband do it.
I let the boys have their time, yes.
Well, thank you so much for allowing us to get a little perspective from a wrestling mom. We really appreciate it.
Sure, thank you.
I am here with Dave, head of security. Sir, do you get nervous that when things are about to go down, you got some parents that are getting awfully heated, screaming. Does that ever make you nervous coming in on days like this?
No, I don't get nervous. If I stay calm, they usually get calm. So I stay calm, and it usually handles the situation.
So do you utilize some verbal jujitsu to kind of take that heated moment and bring it down a notch?
Sometimes, when necessary. Yeah.
Now you're a former Navy police officer, if I'm not correct.
I was 23 years in the Navy, did 4 years with a police officer, and some government work.
Yeah, this gentleman, there's no better guy to have around to make sure that everyone's safe and secure in big tournaments like this, and we sure appreciate having you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Coach. What's your name?
Utkir Hasanov.
Where are you from?
From Uzbekistan.
Wow, and Summer Nationals brings you all the way here in Atlantic City, and this is your one of your students over here. What's your name?
Mark.
Mark? Are you pumped for today or what?
Yeah, I'm pumped to wrestle.
Have you wrestled yet?
Not yet. I'm the adult division. I'm doing freestyle.
Fantastic, brother. So you're a coach. What message do you give your wrestlers before they show up to a big competition like this?
Переводи, пожалуйста.
Что ты хочешь сказать к студентам, когда они будут бороться?
Студентам хочу сказать, чтобы они боролись хорошо, wrestle smart и агрессивно боролись и выиграли.
So I want my students to wrestle smart, aggressive, and have a good game plan, and so they win.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to us. Best of luck to you. You're welcome. Best of luck to you, brother. My man. Thanks, guys. So I am here with Cammie Hawkins. Cammie, where are you from?
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. She just got done wrestling a very tough match. You knew your opponent was tough going in, isn't that right?
Yes.
So everyone wants to highlight victories and highlight wins, but it's tough matches like that. Bouncing back, what goes through your head when you go into your next match after a tough loss like that?
I go in the way I come out. So if I go in happy, I say come out happy.
So you seem like a person to me. You go in. Do you put a lot of pressure on yourself, or do you try to keep it fun?
I try to keep it fun.
Fun, loose, having a good time. So you're looking forward to your next match, aren't you?
Yes.
So what message would you have to other girls out there? Because everyone really has to learn how to lose in this sport. It's the toughest sport in the world. So what message would you have to girls that might get really down on themselves after a loss like that? And how would you pick yourself up again and move on?
I try to tell myself there's more chances to come, so you don't know what's going to happen next.
You never know what's going to happen next. Great mindset from Cammie Hawkins. Cammie, best of luck to you moving forward.
Thank you.
Hey, you're awesome. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? So I'm sitting here with Dave Dean, and I was just talking about coming up with a unique intro, Bruce Buffer and we are live. But got to find out something, that's unique and genuine to yourself.
I think the Bruce Buffer is more naturally you, actually. It's something that leans that way, as opposed to like Snoop Dogg or something,
Yeah. The other weekend at the Rumble in Lansing, I discovered really quickly I need to put the mic a little farther to the side of my mouth because of how loud and outrageous I got. But I couldn't help it with the level of competition we were covering.
it was exciting. Sometimes, you wonder who's that on. Is that on you? Is it the competition? Or is it the engineer that hides behind the curtain?
Yeah,
the wizard.
Totally his fault in the back,
Yeah.
our producer, Adam Towner. But there was a moment when we were covering where you and I both went, oh, and it blew our audio, completely blew it up. But that's what happens when you're covering this sport. It's so spontaneous. You never know what's going to happen. And that's what I love about this sport. It's the greatest sport on earth.
Yeah, really is. It's so all our journey and all of our experiences and the collection of that. And I have, fortunately or unfortunately, I've got a lot of them. That kind of indicates my age a little bit here, but here we are. It's a fabulous wrestling youth all the way through college wrestling tournament. Over 3,000 entries. I think 3,338 entries over the course of the week here in Atlantic City, where people get to have a lot of fun, experience the boardwalk, the beach, the casinos, the shows, and a great place for families. They can find a lot to do outside of wrestling. So a lot of the people that we have here are here for wrestling, but to have a much bigger experience, and it's really awesome. So I did that with my kids and my family. I have a lot of great memories over the years.
Yeah, and you see it too, walking around, all the families that are together. It's not just about the competition, it's about the memories that are being made. It's truly something special, getting a chance to go around and interview a lot of the kids and coaches and parents. It was so much fun, and they're having an absolute blast here. To piggyback off of what you and I were talking about before we went live, I want to invite our audience in this, and that's the importance of girls wrestling and the explosion that's about to happen with our sport. You said it yourself, you're looking around, seeing all these 6, 8, 10-year-old girls, that's never happened before in the history of our sport. And here are hundreds of them just starting that generation, that next level generation that's going to take our sport from here to there.
There's an incredible wave of it. Of course, we're exposed to it at the events. There's a significant difference. It's been like I've been witnessing an iceberg calving, it just slowly moving. Now you have the calving going on. It's an explosion after seeing this incremental move for about maybe 25 years. And now it's just a complete explosion. You can tell that it's been accepted everywhere. It's been very normalized, where there was incredible resistance to it for the longest time. But now it's just being normalized from from one coast to the other, up and down in this country. We see it everywhere. The really big deal with this now is it's becoming normalized with corporate sponsors, people like, maybe Gatorade or, in our case, some of the organizations that we're working with, but a lot of different, and they're willing now to dump the dollars in because, it's men and women's wrestling now on every level. Someone I'd like to acknowledge, Mike Moyer, the director of the National Wrestling Coaches Association's acronym is NWCA, but they have started hundreds of programs, and they have well over 100 college women's wrestling programs that they helped start, and that is a linear explosion now. So I don't know where that ends. Is it 300, 500, 600 women's programs? It's following, I'd say, the network of men's programs. So that's going to go a long ways. But that is now also have an effect on all the lower levels, because you have now leaders that are coming into the sport. It used to just be pretty much primarily men or males who were in leadership, but now you have women who are wrestling, getting into coaching, getting into directorship. That's all starting to happen. So we have this explosion in the sport of wrestling of leadership. Well, that just grows the sport faster, and I think that's what we're witnessing. I haven't done any scientific polls on it. It's just when I look around, it's I can see that that's very different. And as we were noticing earlier, the 6 and 8 and 5-year-olds up here getting their pictures, and it's continuous. It doesn't. It's like amazing.
It is incredible, and to think that not that long ago they were threatening to take wrestling out of the Olympics. And I was there in Los Angeles with Randy Couture, a bunch of legends, trying to spread the message like, no, don't take this sport away. That's one of the original sports in the old Greece. Like, don't do that. And now, with the explosion of women's wrestling, there's just, in my heart of hearts, I truly believe that that's never, ever going to be a topic of conversation again. Like, you're not going to take our sport out of the Olympics. That was insanity back then, but now it's like, yes, it's like the best thing to happen for our sport. And looking it around and seeing all these young ladies competing is just something truly special. I can't get enough of the spirit that's in the air of competition, the positive attitudes all around all day long, right here in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Just wow is really all I have to say at this moment.
Yeah, I kind of want to go back to taking the wrestling out of the Olympics. Not an insider. I mean, I'm heavily involved in wrestling, but not part of the International Olympic Committee, not part of, at the time it was called FILA, the
Yeah.
Global Organization for Wrestling. Not any part of that, but I remember when that happened, and that was probably about, 12 years ago, 14 years ago now. The way that struck me, in knowing the global popularity for wrestling, which is immense, I was actually thinking, there's going to be another Olympics. As a businessman, I was like, wrestling's not going away. And I wonder, I wish I was in the back room. You have some of these corporate board types that make decisions, and you kind of, because every time you have a head scratcher, you go, why'd they cut that, or why'd they do that, or why'd they put that guy in the front of a beer bottle? You just, it's like people that are making decisions disconnected to what's going on the ground with the you call them customers or the population, whatever.
Right.
Well, I thought the IOC people were heavily disconnected, and then probably got a dose of reality, like, there isn't room for 2 Olympics, but they would have started their second Olympic movement. So many nations would have just said, see ya.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and then just went and reorganized. And
yeah.
In my gut, I knew that's one of the very first thoughts I had. I was like, there's not going to not be wrestling. There's going to be that. Wrestling is the original Olympic sport.
Yes.
It'd be one thing if it went out of style or something. Like,
right.
Hey man, nobody really wants to wrestle anymore. Kind of like how you feel like, when you try to understand like some of the sports in the Olympic, like nobody participates in that, but they have it in the Olympics. Well, that's not wrestling. And I was like, well, we're just gonna have another Olympics. We'll call it the Olympiad or some derivative. It's
Yeah.
And so it's just that's kind of how that struck me. But the women's wrestling is a very positive development in the sport. I think what happened that made it hard, people, if they're listening, maybe, I don't know how many people are tuning in right now, but I actually have a theory or a hypothesis. I'll move it farther out on that. In America, instead of creating a separate women's division, we allowed girls on the boys' teams. That was the blessing, opened the door, but the curse was never taking the initiative to creating their own structure. Well, if you think about the average family, a lot of them don't want to they're worried about that age when girls are, becoming women. They don't want their daughter, I've heard this over and over again, like, well, what do we do when they turn 12, or 13? And now that there's separate structures, you can see that it's being embraced by everybody. Like so structurally allowing them to wrestle boys kept it very, very small. And now that there's separate structures, you you see the explosion.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's
Yeah.
fair. It's fair. And I know a lot of women out there, but my younger sister's one of them. She's 30 years old, and she's like, why wasn't this happening when I was in high school?
Right.
Like, she would have loved an opportunity to come here at Summer Nationals and compete, and she would have been amazing. To your point, like when they're kids, boys and girls, when they're kids, 6, 8 years old, it's fair game. But as soon as that testosterone starts pumping and all of that, it becomes unfair. But now women have an opportunity to compete against women in their own weight classes and find success doing it. And like you said earlier, there was so many females coming up here proudly displaying their hard-earned hardware
with their little brothers. So you can see it's a family deal. It's following the family lines big time too, and now families are making decisions about being involved in the sport of wrestling.
Yeah.
It's actually easier. Oh, our son's involved, but our daughter can now be involved. There's so many critical mass things that are going on in this. It's pretty cool. Way overdue. I personally didn't have my head wrapped around half of all the great things that would come out of it when it was first presented. Gary Abbott, I remember sitting in a meeting maybe 20 years ago at the NCAA championships for men, him going, we need to embrace women's wrestling. And I was young, I was a young guy, and it was more than 20 years old because I don't think I was in my 30s when he brought that up. And I was thinking, okay, I didn't feel a passionate thing about it one way or another. I do remember being angry about cutting back the weight class because they did some things at the same exact time that weren't helpful. Like they had women's wrestling, but they cut men's wrestling back at the Olympics. Well, pitted the men against the women in that deal, and that's a bad thing. Failure of some leadership way up line.
Yes.
That probably hurt the women's movement because it created bad feelings with the people that actually could have helped.
Right.
And then, so that took decades to overcome that. But now I think you can see it's all moved past that. It's obvious now.
Yeah, it's huge. And it's become a very family thing. Like you said, there are brothers and sisters here competing with parents that are just so passionate and encouraging. And here they are getting to experience this together. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
In my life, like growing up as a wrestler, it's always been boys and very few females. But those females really started it all by getting in there and going up against other boys, and now there's a stage for them to compete, and it's amazing. I can't wait to see where it goes in the next 3-5 years. Colleges start sprouting up left and right.
I wish we had a camera to pan to this, but we got two girls here, probably 9. What do you say, 9, 10
Yeah,
years?
easy.
9, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
First place.
Proud.
Big smiles on their faces.
It's really,
that is awesome.
Yeah. It's just awesome.
It really is. So later on today, 4 p.m., Dave, we're going live. We're going to commentate some action right here.
Yeah, we're going to be carrying live individual championship matches starting at 4 o'clock Eastern time, and then we'll go to conclusion, which will probably run out to around 6 o'clock. But anyways, if you guys want to join us back, we'll have more camera angles. We're missing our camera operators right now. It'll be covering 4 different camera angles on the action, so pretty sweet. It's going to be an amazing production.
Heck yeah, you don't want to miss it. 4 p.m. Share the link. Whether you're watching this on Facebook Live, visit us at Combat Life Network on YouTube. Share that link.
Or Facebook.
Facebook. Share it all. Share it all. Wherever you're watching, share it because you're not going to want to miss this. Some of the best kids in America are here to compete, and we will call the action.
All right. Awesome.